Hi everyone, my name is Sofia and I'm going to explain you a little bit about the human rights, what do they really are, and a little bit of its history. I'm also put some special facts at the end of the presentation. I hope you like it. I know it's too early, but I want you to enjoy it. This is the history about human rights from the 1900s to 2000. What does human rights are? No discrimination, no status, no matter religion, no matter gender. As we have our heroes, the human rights also have it. The first one was Cyrus the Great, the second one was Gandhi, the third one was Eleanor Roosevelt, the fourth one was Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela. 1880 to 1914, the European imperialism reaches its climax. It was a bad thing because the imperialism didn't respect everything and they didn't have human rights. This prize is all about human rights, and the first one was given to Henry Dunant and Frederick Passy. To the Australian Parliament denied the right to vote to all the natives of Australia. This same year, the International Women's Suffrage Alliance was founded. In 1999, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People was founded. In the 1920, the U.S. Constitution grants the woman right to vote. From 1933 and 1939, a series of discriminatory laws passed in Germany, the laws of April and the Nuremberg laws. From 1939 to 1945, Jews were exterminated by Hitler Nazi regime. In 1945, everything was changed because the United Nations is established. And this changed all the human rights history. From 1945 to 1949, all the leaders, Nazis, were persecuted for war crime and crimes against humanity. Woo! In 1947, India received its independence after years of non-violent protest led by Mahatma Gandhi, one of our heroes. In 1948, the UN General Assembly adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. From 1948 to 1964, South Africa heads in the opposite direction, implementing a system of law called apartheid to racially segregate its people in every aspect of life. War on poverty. This legislation was proposed by Johnson in response to national poverty rate around 19%. United States Congress passed the Economic Opportunity Act, which established the Office of Economic Opportunity to administer the local application after federal funds. From 1964 to 1967, President Johnson signed the Civil Rights Acts, making segregation in public facilities and discrimination in employment illegal. In 1968, the President Johnson signed the other Civil Rights Acts, providing discrimination in self-rental and financial housing. In 1980 to 1989, Iraq invades Iran and 8 years war ensues. In 1982, the Equal Rights Amendment to the U.S. Constitution fails to gain ratification. In 1982 to 1988, Nelson Mandela's imprisonment. In 1992, the U.S. Congress ratified the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. The UN adopts the Declaration on the Protection of All Persons. In 1993, the Second World Conference of the Human Rights. Same year, the UN created the Post-High Commissioner for Human Rights. This year was the Declaration for the Elimination of the Violence Against Women. From 1994 to 2004, the UN declares a decade for human rights of education. In 1994, the UN declares no racial discrimination, no torture, and no degrading punishments. The same year, the U.S. delegation in UN supports the rights of children, and South Africa had the first election where all races can vote, and Nelson Mandela is elected as president. In 1995, Beijing declares women's rights are human rights also. In 1999, prohibition and elimination of child labor. These are more examples. Let's watch it.